Most of the accounts I receive are about a place, a road, a house, a building floor, a stretch of woods at the end of someone's property. This one is about a bed. Just a bed. 4 walls. One night. Peter Vance is 29 years old. He's a graphic designer. He lives alone in Portland, Oregon, on the 3rd floor of a building that was already old when his parents were born. He sent this account 4 weeks after the night it describes. He said he waited because he needed time before he could tell it in the right order. He said, "The order is the whole thing. Get the order wrong and it's just a bad night. Get it right and you'll understand why I'm still not sleeping. Here it is, in the right order." I bought the bed on a Thursday. Facebook Marketplace listing. Queen mattress and frame, 8 years old, good condition, $180. The woman selling it was moving to Phoenix. She needed it out of her apartment by Friday morning. My bed had collapsed the previous weekend in a way that made it clear it had been planning the exit for a while. I drove over Thursday evening, took one look at it, paid her cash, and arranged for a friend with a truck to help me move it. I want to be clear about something before I go any further. I'm not a superstitious person. I'm a designer. I think in grids and systems. I believe in cause and effect, and I believe that most things that seem strange have explanations you'd be embarrassed to have missed. I say this because I know how the rest of this sounds, and I need you to know it sounds that way to me too. My name is Peter Vance. I'm 29. I've lived in my apartment on N.W. Hoyt Street for 3 years. The building is from 1931, radiator heat, windows that don't seal properly, floors that carry every footstep to every unit above and below. I know all its sounds. I know which pipes groan and when. I know the sound the elevator makes when it decides not to stop at my floor. I know the specific quality of the silence at 3 a.m. in that building, the way it has a texture. 8 years of living alone in old buildings teaches you their vocabularies. I'm telling you this because what I'm about to describe happened to someone who doesn't spook easily, who has never told a story like this before in his life, who waited 4 weeks because he needed to be completely sure before he put it anywhere permanent. I set the bed up Thursday night, moved the old frame out, assembled the new one, laid the mattress down. By 11 p.m. it was done and I went to sleep with no particular feeling about any of it. Hold on to that. No particular feeling. Because something in me had already noticed. I just hadn't let it come to the surface yet. The detail I keep coming back to is the smell. The mattress had a smell when I laid down on it for the first time. Not mold, not neglect. Something older and less specific than that. Like a room that had been closed for a long time and then opened briefly to let something out. I noticed it and filed it as old mattress, normal, it'll air out. It didn't air out. I woke up at 2:09 a.m., not from a dream, not gradually. On, the way a switch goes on. One state to another with nothing in between. The room was dark except for the streetlight coming through the gap in my curtains. The radiator was ticking the way it does when the building heat cycles on for the first time in an hour. Rain on the glass. I registered all of this and it all accounted for itself. I was lying on my back. I sleep on my side. Have since I was a kid. It's just the position my body settles into without any decision from me. I was on my back with my arms at my sides, hands palm down on the mattress, like something had arranged me. I rolled onto my side, or I tried. My body moved. I felt the intention, felt it travel from my brain down through my shoulder. And nothing happened. I lay completely still and thought, muscle cramp. Blood flow cut off by the sleep position. Limb not responding while circulation returns. I've had it in my arm before. I started counting. 30 seconds. Sensation completely normal the whole time. I could feel the sheet under my hand, the texture of the fabric, the temperature of the surface. Nothing numb. Nothing wrong. I tried again. Nothing happened. My mouth went dry in a way that had nothing to do with thirst. Sleep paralysis, I told myself. Documented, common. A timing mismatch between the brain waking and the body catching up. I'd read about it. This was almost certainly what was happening. I focused on breathing. Slow and regular. The body catches up. Give it a minute. I gave it 4 minutes. At 2:13, I know the time because I checked my phone. I lifted my right hand off the mattress and held it in front of my face. The relief I felt at that. I nearly laughed out loud. Sleep paralysis, I confirmed. Resolved. Go back to sleep. I put my hand down on the mattress. The mattress held it. Not the weight of my arm. There was no settling, no give. The mattress pushed back. A resistance from beneath the surface. A pressure that held my hand flat against the fabric for exactly 1 full second and then released it. I felt it let go. I sat up. That worked fine. No resistance, no lag, just normal. I sat on the edge of the bed with my feet on the floor, turned on the lamp on the nightstand, and looked at the mattress. Normal mattress. Queen size. Off-white cover. The slight depression in the center where I'd been lying. I pressed my palm flat against the surface. Nothing. Foam and fabric. I pressed harder. Nothing. Hypnagogic hallucination, I told myself. The brain produces physical sensations during the sleep-wake transition. Touch, pressure, even pain. That feel completely real because they're generated by the same systems that process real sensation. This is documented. This has a name. The hand on the mattress was my brain misfiring, not the mattress. I sat on the edge of the bed with the lamp on for 11 minutes. I counted those too. Then I turned the lamp off and lay back down. I knew this was the wrong decision. I made it anyway because I had work in the morning, because I was an adult who didn't sleep on his couch because of his brain's hiccups, because the rational explanation was still intact and I was going to honor it. I lay back down. The smell was stronger, not dramatically, not a wave of it, just incrementally more present, the way a sound gets louder when you stop making noise. The closed room smell. I noticed it the way you notice something that's been there the whole time once you stop being able to ignore it. I made sure I was on my side. At 2:31, I was on my back again. I hadn't moved. I started thinking about the woman who sold me the bed, not in a significant way. She just surfaced. Her face. The way she'd said I needed out by Friday with a specific quality in her voice that I hadn't registered consciously at the time but had apparently stored somewhere. Not urgency, not inconvenience. Relief. She'd looked relieved when I said I'd take it. I turned this over and it was a completely ordinary thought about a completely ordinary transaction, and there was no reason it should make my chest feel the way it felt. Like something had been placed on it, flat, deliberate, like a hand pressing down without weight. Anxiety, I told myself. I was lying awake after a strange experience and my brain was pattern matching, finding meaning in neutral memories. People sell beds quickly all the time. There was nothing in her face. I believed this completely, and the thought came back. She looked relieved, and this time it brought something else with it. A secondary thought I am certain I didn't generate. I know my thoughts, I know how they build, that arrived already formed. She knew you'd take it. I said out loud to the ceiling, actually said it, stop. The radiator stopped ticking at that exact moment, not gradually, not the natural fade of a heating cycle ending. It stopped. The room was completely quiet for the first time all night. 2:41 a.m. I lay in the silence and I did what I should have done 20 minutes earlier. I decided to get up, go to the living room, sleep on the couch, and deal with the irrationality in the morning. I swung my legs to the side of the bed, both feet on the floor. I could feel the floorboards, cold through my socks, the specific temperature of old wood that loses heat fast past 2 a.m. I pressed my weight down into my feet until I could feel the grain of the boards through the fabric. I stood. I was standing, feet on the floor. I let myself feel it for a full second to make sure. I took one step toward the door. I was on my back in the center of the bed. No transition, no fall, no stumble, no sensation of movement. The step and then the mattress under me. Nothing between them. I lay there and worked through what had just happened for what I think was about a minute. Then I tried again. Deliberately this time. Legs over the side, both feet flat. Weight into my feet. Stood up slowly, felt the floor, took inventory, standing, balanced, floor under me, door 6 feet away. I took one step. I was on my back in the center of the bed. I made a sound I don't have a word for, involuntary, the kind you make when something hits you before you're braced for it. And I lay there and I understood something. I had been trying to leave for 32 minutes. Not once had I wondered why I'd woken up. I turned my head to the right. The lamp was on. I had turned it off before I lay back down. I was certain of that. I remembered the darkness when I settled onto my side. The lamp was on now, the amber light filling the nightstand corner the way it always did. On the nightstand, the lamp, my phone, the glass of water I fill every night before bed so I don't have to get up in the night. The glass was empty, not knocked over, not spilled. The nightstand was dry, the floor was dry. The glass was standing upright and it was empty, and it was dry on the inside in a way that meant it hadn't been full recently. I fill that glass every night. It's the last thing I do before I get into bed. I could see the ring on the inside of the glass where the water level had been. I stared at it for a long time. Then the thought came. Not my thought, not the way my thoughts come. This one arrived complete, the way something arrives that was already waiting. You've been here longer than you think. I picked up my phone. 2:09 a.m. The exact time I'd woken up. The phone's clock hadn't moved. I had been lying in this bed by every clock I could access for 0 minutes. The rain on the window had stopped. I had not heard it stop. I could not locate the moment it stopped. It had been raining when I woke up, and it was not raining now, and somewhere in between those two facts was a gap I couldn't account for. I want to explain something about the next part. I've thought about it every day for 4 weeks. I've tried to find the seam, the exact point where I was clearly asleep, clearly dreaming, clearly not in the room I thought I was in. I have wanted to find that seam more than I've wanted almost anything since it happened. I have not found it. At 2:09 a.m. by my phone's clock, lying on my back in the center of a bed I could not leave, in a room that had gone quiet in a way that felt less like silence and more like attention, I began to hear something from inside the mattress. directly beneath me, not loud, not dramatic. The sound a person makes when they've been completely still for a very long time and they stop being careful about the stillness. A release. The kind of sound that means something that was held is no longer holding. I stopped breathing to check if I was hearing myself. I wasn't hearing myself. I lay there and I listened to it, and I felt, through the surface of the mattress, the faint and almost imperceptible movement of something beneath me that was breathing. The smell was at its strongest now. The closed room smell. And I understood for the first time what it was. What I had smelled since I laid down on this mattress for the first time Thursday night. A room that had been opened. Not to let air in, to let something out. And the woman who sold me this bed had not looked relieved because she was glad to be rid of furniture before a move. I couldn't stop trying to swallow, and I couldn't. I stared at the ceiling. The sound below me slowed, settled, like something that had finished waiting for the moment I understood. The thing I noticed next took me a long time to process, because it wasn't something present, it was something absent. The room was 68 degrees. I know this because my thermostat display was visible from the bed. The small green numbers on the wall unit across the room. 68 degrees, which is what I keep it at, which is what it always is. But I was cold. Not air cold, the kind that comes from a window or a draft. Cold from the mattress, from below me, specifically, in a band across the center of my back where I was in contact with the surface, as if the temperature was coming up through the foam, through the cover, directly into me. I have never felt cold from a mattress before. I have never felt cold from below while the room was warm above. I thought about what generates cold like that, what produces it directionally, upward through a surface, into something lying on top of it. I stopped thinking about it before I finished the thought. I stared at the ceiling for what felt like a very long time. At some point, the green numbers on the thermostat changed. Not the temperature. The temperature stayed at 68. The time changed. It went from 2:09 to 4:51 in what felt like one breath. 4:51 a.m. I know the time because that was when every clock I had access to started agreeing again. I have 2 hours and 42 minutes that exist only as a weight behind my eyes and a certainty in my body that I did not sleep. At 4:51, the room changed. The attention, whatever quality the silence had, the sense of being observed, of being the subject of a focus with no face, it withdrew. Not gradually. I felt it go the way you feel a pressure releasing, the way a sound you stopped hearing was still affecting you until the moment it actually ends. The radiator ticked once. I sat up. My body sat up. I stood, and I was standing, and the floor was under me, and I walked to the door, and I opened it, and I was in the hallway with the door open behind me, and I heard myself make a sound I have never heard from myself before. Not crying, not relief. Something between the two that I don't have a name for. I stood in the hallway for a long time with my hand on the door frame. Then I looked back through the open door at the bed, the surface of the mattress. The center of it, where I'd been lying, held a depression, and beside it, a second depression. Same depth, same length, beside mine. Like someone had been lying there the whole night. Like someone had just gotten up. I want to stop here for a moment. Peter included the marketplace listing in his account. The seller's name, the address, the date it was posted. I looked her up. Her profile is still active. She's posted since photos from Phoenix, a new apartment, her cat in a sunlit window. She looks well. She looks visibly, genuinely well in a way that made me study the photos longer than I should have. There was one comment on the listing post. Left the day after the sale was marked complete. I don't know who left it. The account has since been deleted. The comment said, "Did you tell him?" She never responded. I tried to find the account. It was deleted 11 minutes after the comment was posted. I put the mattress on the curb that morning. The frame too. Everything. By the time I came back inside, someone had already taken the frame. By noon, the mattress was gone as well. I don't know who took it. I told myself, it's gone. Whatever it was, it left with the mattress. Someone else's problem now, or no one's problem, or a thing that only attaches once and doesn't follow. I bought a new mattress that afternoon, same-day delivery, sealed in plastic from the warehouse. Never been in another house. I slept fine for 3 weeks. Last Tuesday, I woke up at 2:09 a.m. On my back, arms at my sides. I lay completely still. My clock moved normally, 2:09 to 2:10. The rain was just rain. I could sit up and I could stand, and the floor was under me when I walked to the lamp and turned it on. Normal room. New mattress still in its warranty-sealed shape. No depressions anywhere. Glass of water still full on the nightstand. I sat on the edge of the bed and exhaled for what felt like the first time in 3 weeks. Then I looked at the floor. My feet were on the floor, and in the amber light from the lamp, there were 2 shadows. Mine, and one just behind it, narrower, upright. Mine moved when I shifted my weight. The other one didn't. I haven't slept since Tuesday. I'm okay. I think I'm okay. Peter sent one photograph with his account. He took it the morning after the first night, before he moved the mattress to the curb. He wanted to document the depressions in the surface, his and the one beside it. The photograph is clear. Good lighting, phone camera, nothing filtered. 2 depressions in an off-white mattress surface, side by side, the same depth. The one beside his is longer, not by much. 3 or 4 inches maybe. Peter is 5'11". I've looked at that photograph a lot. I keep coming back to 2 things: the length of the second depression, and the fact that in Peter's entire account, 7 hours of a night he cannot explain. He never once described hearing whatever was beside him get up. He described the depression being there when he looked. He never described the moment it left.